training directly after this, in which we'll really dive deep into estimating invoice types. So that'll be a really helpful one, especially for those of you who've been wanting to go a little bit further and maybe add some additions to the templates that are out there and want to make sure you understand how all that works. So we'll be covering that in the next call. For now, we will go ahead and cover our standard Q&A. Let me share my screen. I'm sorry, y'all, I'm on a different setup today. So I'm a little slow. We're getting there. Okay. All right, I believe to kick us off, we had a request to talk about overriding the service prices and using discounts. So let's take a look and start at that. I'm going to go to my properties. And I'm in production, so I'm going to do a test. And let's create a new opportunity. We'll keep it simple. We'll do a rental. And do that. All right. So I'm going to just enter some random plants in here. We're branching out today, y'all. We're getting a Dracaena in there. Let's do that guy. Sounds good. And got a new container too. We're making progress in the world. Let's go with. All right, probably not the right size. That's okay. Don't judge my quoting ability. All right, so we'll do 5 of those, friends.
Shannon, is there any ability for it to kick back if the container and the plant size don't correspond?
There is not. Nope.
Nope. Okay.
Yeah, it's a good question. The items have no connection to each other. The other thing is sometimes people might put, like if it's a rectangle, right, they might have several grow pot sizes that go in there or one big one. So yeah, unfortunately, we don't have a way to help. I don't want to say police, but you know what I mean. We don't have a way to really help track that. Okay, so I've got just a very basic rental set up here, more like an add-on really. And what we're going to look at, let me zoom in just a smidge here. I don't have a mouse, so I feel like I'm missing a limb is how it feels. All right, we're going to look at this feature up here that's called adjust service pricing, okay? And I'm just going to show you a few things that are available to you to use that might make your life a little bit easier. So we're going to click on that. And the adjust service pricing is, it's not quite, I think, what used to be the price match in Unique, but it has some similar, I believe, functionality. And it also gives the ability to do an overall adjustment of the pricing by percentage to your estimate. So let's take a look at what we got here. We've got 3 different ways that we can adjust our service pricing of our estimates. So the first one I'm going to pick is this service price percentage. And what that's saying is I can either increase or decrease my entire service price here by any percentage I want. So if I wanted to take off 5% off the whole thing, maybe I have an agreement with whatever company and we have to give them X discount as part of our agreement. It's simple enough. I can say, okay, I'm going to adjust my service price as a percent. How much am I decreasing? 5%. I click save. And you'll notice these prices decreased by 5%, and they are both now yellow. They are yellow, remember, because if we decrease the price compared to what the system originally thought it should be calculated as, it turns yellow, okay? If I said, ooh, I didn't want to do that, or I don't like it, remember, you can always click on a box where the price was changed. You can delete it out, click somewhere else on the screen, and it'll increase it back to the original amount. So it's $15.35. I'm going to delete it, and it takes me back up to $16.15. So that's an easy way to undo something if you don't like it. Remember, anytime it's yellow or green, for that matter, green, remember, we marked it up higher than the system thought. That lets us know that the amount has been changed. It's not calculating based on the items, but rather we've overridden just one particular box. If I don't like it, I delete it, I click off, and it brings me back to my OG price. The second thing, go back to our adjust service pricing. Worth pointing out, it works the other way as well. So if I want to increase this by, I don't know, 10%, Maybe it's the Omni, doing some holiday. Just kidding, Omni. I'm going to hit save. All right. Same thing. It's going to increase my entire estimate by 10%. And I know I went up because it's green, like money, which we like. Okay. Again, reminder, if you said, oops, that's not what I meant to do, or I meant to increase it by 5 and I did 50 because I was moving too fast. Remember, just click on it, delete it, click somewhere else on the screen, back to your OG price. Same thing right here. And we're back to where we started. Patty?
So you put in minus 10 or minus 5 or minus whatever percent you want, but if you're increasing, you do not have to put the plus?
That's correct. Yep. If you want to increase, no symbol needed, good to go.
Thank you.
Good question. All right, so that's the first one. All right, so remember, I know there's a lot of different options here, y'all, and we're walking before we're running, right? So we're not going to focus on everything here. We're going to look at this adjust service pricing. Okay, we talked about the service price percentage. You can also adjust by gross margin. Okay, so that instead of looking at the price, is looking at your gross margin percentage here. So if you want to say, I want to increase my gross margin by X percent or decrease my gross margin by X percent, you could do that here as well. Works the exact same way as the service price increase. It's just operating based on the gross margin. Word of caution there, y'all. Before we get too cray-cray on the gross margin, you might be looking at this rental deal and saying, holy cow, a 25% margin, that is low. We do like 50% margin or 60 or fill in the blank. This is a 2-year rental. So what that's saying is in the first year, when we incur the cost of purchasing this plant and container, our margin is 25%, right? Ish. The next year, that margin is going to be much higher because we've already bought these. It's already been installed. So we're working on a way to work with Aspire to be able to do multi-year terms. So this gross margin is a little more trustworthy. I just bring this up to say, please don't panic when you see that gross margin and think, oh, that's way lower than we want it to be. Well, this is a 2-year deal, so this is going to be repeated for a second year. So it is perfectly normal to see margins on the rental part in the 20s range. For your guaranteed maintenance, since that's always going to be 1 year at a time, that's going to be a trustworthy gross margin to work off of. Okay, so gross margin percentage, we can work on that, or sorry, service gross margin percentage. The last one I want to show you is the total fixed price. Okay, if you want to change, and in fact, let me change my view here so you can see the whole enchilada. All right, when we talk about total fixed price, we're looking at this guy right here, $23.90.73. So that's my entire upfront investment and any kind of monthly fees I've got as well, or quarterly, however you have it set up. If I want to adjust that amount, I go to my adjust service pricing. Instead of increasing things by percentages or decreasing by percentages, I can click on this guy, total fixed price, and I can say, hey, what do I want the entire amount to be? I want this whole thing to come out all in $2,000. I can do that, and I can save it. Now here will be my word of caution to you. It's not necessarily letting you say, which one do I want to increase and which one do I want to decrease. It tries to decrease them at about the same rate, but it's going to adjust a little bit to account for the math to try to make it even based on the number of occurrences, quantities, whatever. So if you're wanting a very exact amount, let's say this was a purchase maintenance and you wanted a very exact amount for the purchase and a very exact amount for the maintenance, then maybe you don't want to use that service override, or sorry, that total fixed price override, because maybe you want to be exact about what's priced what. But in this case, everything in here is a monthly amount, right? I don't have any upfront investments, so why not change my total fixed price amount? Because that way I can get the exact price I want. You just have to remember it's annual, not monthly. That's the big thing, right? Working on annual terms, not monthly terms. All right, did I lose anybody? Can I get a thumbs up if that kind of makes sense? We get what you're putting down for the adjust service pricing, and we'll check it out.
Is one preferential over the other, Shannon?
It is not. I would say it's up to you. I think it's going to depend on the type of template you're working with, right? Especially for this total fixed price one, because again, you don't have total control as far as where is it taking and where is it giving. I will say if you're giving a discount, especially if it's like a national account and a specific price that we have to discount by, then I think the service price percentage is quite useful in that sense because it's going to take it off both the exact calculation. So I love this one in particular. I think this total fixed price is probably more well suited if you have something that's just a job or just maintenance versus a mix of the two. You could certainly use it. You just might choose to tweak things a little bit after the fact to get it exactly where you want. Steph.
Yeah, good afternoon, Shannon.
Hey.
Can you repeat again what you just said about the fixed pricing? I don't know if you touched on it. I was multitasking at the moment.
Yeah, it's all good. Here, let me back this out.
About when we put a fixed price in and it's showing up a couple cents off on the actual proposal.
Yes.
Like the maintenance will say like 8 cents less than what I actually typed in, but then I adjust the payment schedule and type it in correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a different amount at the bottom of the payment schedule than there is at the top of the proposal.
Yeah, so fair enough. And that's not because of necessarily this feature right here. That's because if you want it to be exact, down to the exact penny the same, then you would need to make that adjustment here and say, okay, I'm going to take off, 5 cents or whatever right here. But if you have an amount that doesn't round perfectly, you're not going to be able to get that just right anyway, if that makes sense, right? So
Got it.
You know what I mean? So you have a choice. You can tweak it here, but if you're doing the edit fixed payment schedule here, you'll just want to make sure that difference once you spread this and you go through, you tweak them, right? If that difference is less than, 5 cents, 6 cents, right? Because if you've got an 8 cent or 9 cent difference, that means you increased or decreased the wrong one, right? You want to pick the one that has the fewest number that you need to tweak and change, in this case, I'm going to change my 2s to 3s.
Right. I did that. Just for example, one that I just recently completed, the annualized maintenance amount was supposed to be $10,583.64. And when I typed that into the fixed payment, it came back to me at $10,583.56.
I see. When you put it in at this one, right?
Yep.
The adjuster's pricing. Okay, understood. That is because it is trying to find a round number for you based on the number of occurrences.
Okay.
So it is doing math based on the occurrences. So if that's off a little bit from what you wanted, what I would recommend is just come to that price per and just increase it a couple cents to get it exactly where you want it. But it has to do with it's trying to find the least common denominator to make the cents distribute evenly among those payments.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, good question. I had the same exact one. I had to ask Aspire about it a couple weeks ago, and they're like, well, it's because the math ain't mathing because you have 26 occurrences. Okay, well, if you put it that way, it makes sense. But yeah, it was the same way. Like, I want it to be this exact amount, but it might not just work based on occurrences.
Thanks, Shannon.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good question. Hey, Mike.
Hi. I'm wondering if rounding isn't the better solution just in general practice.
How do you mean by rounding?
Well, just round evenly, even if it's 8 cents over, at the end result, at least you're covering everything. You don't have to really worry about it too much. You know what I mean? Instead of making the adjustments on a per payment basis, you don't want to necessarily have to make that adjustment of 2 cents, 1 cent, whatever it is. Just round evenly. No?
Well, the problem is, and this is something that we've requested, the problem is if you choose the spread and round, it's going to the nearest dollar. And so then we start to get a bigger difference. And instead of being off by a couple pennies, it's off by, in this case, $2.73. But it can be more than that, right? Based on how far you are from the dollar. So that's the reason why we're not using that one, because it is a bit different. Because to Stephanie's point, it is going to show the amount, right? And then the payment schedule is going to show whatever you've adjusted it to be. So you'll have a bigger discrepancy, I guess is what I'm getting at, if you were to choose spread and round versus, being off maybe a couple of pennies.
Right. So if you elect spread and round, then the proposal stays out at the same value when it shows up on the print, and then this is just a little bit different here.
Yeah, so essentially what it's going to show is
Okay,
it's going to show the amount here,
Yep.
and then the monthly amount won't match up quite right. And that makes sense, right? Like if we talk to a client and say, hey, you know, it's a couple pennies off, well, we're making your monthly payment even. So that way it doesn't change between 23, 24 cents. If you have a client, and I know there's some clients out there, y'all, that are super picky and everything has to be in the exact perfect way. If you have a case where you need it to math out perfectly, then you could just tweak one of these by, you know, whatever amount you need to get to an exact even monthly price.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say that you pick one that has one occurrence and not 26 when you do that.
Yeah, I would agree with you. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Thanks.
Make math easier. Yeah, good questions. What other questions do we have? Or anything you would like for me to walk through? Deborah.
Shannon, I sent a proposal to a client, I amazed myself, but I didn't get an email confirmation. So did I miss out on a step somewhere along the line?
No. So let's take a look at that. So I'm going to assume that you went here to print, email proposal.
Yes.
Perfect. What I would recommend is, so there's two ways that you should be able to see that. One is it should be in your sent, because it is syncing with your email, as long as you have that set up. What I think is a really good practice to do is to just go ahead and CC yourself, and that way you see the exact moment it's hitting the inbox as well. So if the client says, hey, did you send it? You can see, hey, it came to me at, 3:15 p.m. so I can tell them exactly when it was sent over. So if I was sending this quote to Joan, then maybe on this CC contact, I would just make it a practice to CC myself.
Okay. So can I resend that and resend it to myself to make sure, or?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey,
Okay.
Deb.
Yeah.
I just looked at your user profile and you don't have your email synced.
I thought I went and did that. Maybe I need to redo that.
Yeah, you might have missed clicking the save button.
Which is, hey, Joan, you know me way too well. I walk to the printer 5 times a day because I forgot to hit print.
Happens
Okay.
to the best of us.
Okay, that's what I'll do is I'll go back in and resync it again. I probably forgot to hit save, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. No
Too
problem.
old for this.
That's a really good question for the group, though. I do think it is a really good idea when you're sending this out to CC yourself. And it's just, you've just got a trail and you could just keep tabs on when things send. Y'all know with technology, sometimes things can be slow, or, gives you a chance to see exactly what your clients see just in case an error is made somewhere. It's just a good double check. So it's a great call out. Mike?
Yeah, we had an instant just a few moments ago where we did the resync, right?
Mm-hmm.
The sync log showed no errors. That was interesting, but we did the resync anyway to try to make sure that might not be the cause of a problem of attaching a file to the email sent from Aspire. You see. So anyway, but it did not reset on the logging in and logging out. It didn't. In fact, it went back to its original state, which we thought was kind of strange.
What went back to its original state? The proposal?
No, the sync buttons being selected by Aspire. So we deselected them, took the Google out to try to reset it, right? And then when we came back in, there was no change. Now, it wasn't a real long time between going in and out, so maybe
Mike, it just hit me. When you and I were doing that,
yeah.
When we unchecked the boxes, I never went back up to the top and clicked save.
Yep.
No.
I was going to say, I think this might be Joan's theory of
Okay.
the save button. Yeah, there's only a handful of places that you have to click save.
Right.
And that's one of them, is in those user settings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it just hit me, Mike. I was like, why did it go back to the original?
Yeah, it did seem strange to me, but you're right. Maybe. Okay.
I'll try it again.
So
see
there
if I get
was
a
a second
different
question
outcome.
in there, Shannon. There
Say
was
that
a
again?
second question in there. And the second question was about the uploading of a file not being sent through Aspire email. So even though it said attached to proposal, okay, the document, which was a property intel layout, it did not go with email proposal from that right there.
So the one thing I'd ask you to troubleshoot there.
Yep.
We'll
That's
click
what I'm
upload.
doing. Yeah.
I'm going to grab a random, take that guy. I don't know what that is. That's okay. Make sure, number one, that you have attached to proposal checked, right?
Mm-hmm.
Click
Yeah.
save. And when you go to email, okay, you should see this view all right here. And in the parentheses, that's the number of documents that it thinks it has attached. When you check that proposal, you'll just have to make, or sorry, the email, you should just look for multiple attachments because it won't inject that attachment into the proposal itself. It's literally going to add it like any other email attachment.
Correct. Yeah. No, I know it doesn't put it in the proposal, but yeah. Okay. Steph, does that help a little?
It does.
Yeah. Okay.
But the customer never got it.
Okay. Can you send me did they get the proposal but not the attachment?
They didn't get anything.
Yeah.
When I emailed out of Aspire.
I got it set up for you, Shannon. I'll send it off to Mike and you guys.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah,
if you could loop us in that proposal number, we'll take a look.
Okay. Yep.
But do try resyncing and see if that resolves the issue. Try sending it to yourself first to see if it comes through, and if it comes through, then try sending to the client. If it doesn't come to you, send us a chat in the training chat ASAP, and we'll hunt it down.
Yeah,
Okay,
both
sounds
Laura and Myrna had the same issue, Shannon, so that's why I'm kind of digging into it.
Okay, yeah, understood. Appreciate the heads up. All right, Allison and then Deborah, and then we're going to call it for today because we've got another training right after this. Go ahead, Allison. Hello.
Hi. Can you hear me? Just want to make sure you can hear me.
Yep, sure can.
Okay. So I'm in I can't tell you. I don't know where the number is for the with this. How do I?
Your number will be anywhere at the top of the screen, either where it says opportunity number or contract number, or if it's an exterior job, it could say work order number.
Well, I don't see that anywhere on here. Anyway, so I'm in here and it was call in, and the BDR put a opportunity purchase with guaranteed maintenance 1-year agreement in here. It's right. The first phase of this job is going to be the interior purchase agreement and is that what I would use? Because it's going to be the initial portion of the job would be to do pest remediation treatment. So that would be a purchase, correct?
Pest remediation. We're doing the pest remediation treatment. That's us.
Yeah, yes, we would do that.
Okay.
Like plant pests, like mealybugs.
Sorry, you had me in Terminex world for a second. I'm with you.
No mice here.
All right.
I'm aware of.
Glad to hear it. Like, Allison,
So
what are y'all doing over there? Got it.
All right, so I can't find the number of this job in here.
That's okay. I can show you what you can do in this scenario. There's one of two things you could do. Since it's a BDR lead, what I think is the easiest thing to do is just to delete out the service that you don't need in this one. So let me show you what I mean by that. So I'm going to new sale. All right, don't mind me. I'm just getting to the screen that you'll eventually see. Okay. So what you're saying, Allison, is the only thing that you really need is the interior purchase. You don't need any maintenance on this because
Correct.
It's just a job for right now, right? Okay.
Right.
So that means you don't need this annual services paid monthly at all right now because you're not worried about maintenance. You just need purchase. So I'm going to right click on this line that says annual services paid monthly because this is a service group. And when I delete that, it's going to delete this verbiage right here and the services underneath it. So when I hit delete, my maintenance is gone. I now just have my purchase, which is A-OK. You'll add your purchase items there, and then you'll just want to do two things. Number one, you no longer have maintenance, so you can get rid of that tag right there. Don't need it. And number two, it's no longer a purchase with guaranteed maintenance, so you would just want to change that default opportunity name to purchase or whatever you'd like there. Purchase, pest remediation, blah, 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 blah. And that, I think, is the easiest way to do it. You don't have to worry about changing the template. It's fine that the template still says this. This is just communicating to you where did this originally start? It originally started as a PM template, but that's okay. We've changed it to just be a purchase, and that's all you need.
Okay, this is a dumb question, but so I'm in here, and how do I get to the screen you were just showing? I'm just having a moment. So I'm in
You're trying to
opportunity.
find this opportunity right here.
How do I get back to that?
What I would recommend is click on this little green leaf, this little home leaf.
Yeah.
Look at your recent activity.
Okay, I just did that. Yeah.
And do you see it listed in one of those 10 or so recent opportunities?
Yes, it's right at the top because I was just in it.
Yep. So then just go ahead and click on that link and it'll take you right there.
Right, then it takes me back to the screen that doesn't look like the one that you just had. So
Is there a button right here that says create estimate?
again,
Is there a button right here? Right now mine says complete, but do you have one that says create estimate?
I'm sure I do, Shannon. It's just a matter of finding it. Give me a second.
Yeah, no worries.
No, I don't see that.
All right, let's we have to jump to the training call that's
Okay.
starting right now. Deborah, I apologize. We'll jump to your question. I promise we'll if not in the training chat, then we can tackle it tomorrow. Allison, if you could send a screenshot of what you're seeing, I think we could probably point you in the right direction.
I'm sure
If we
you
see
can.
what you see, we'll get
I'm
to that.
Would it be helpful if I stay on for the next meeting or jump on the next meeting?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely attend the next one because we're gonna really dig into the details.
Okay.
And then we might end that one early. I'm not sure yet, but if we end early, I can stay on and take a look.
I appreciate it. All right.
Yeah,
Bye-bye
cool.
now.
All right. Thanks, guys. Sorry to cut it a little bit short, but I'll see you on the next one. If we didn't get to your question, holler at us in the training chat. We'll get back to you. Thanks, guys.